So let's start without further ado. Welcome everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Martin Pigeon and I'm working with the Corporate Europe Observatory. As a researcher and campaigner lobbyist, I'm glad to welcome you to this conference on how to escape lobbyists, because they are paid to influence policy but not usually elected by anyone. As our name suggests, Corporate Europe Observatory is a research and campaign group working to expose and challenge the privileged access and influence enjoyed by corporations and their lobby groups in EU policy making. We are anti-lobbying lobbyists, you could say. In fact, this is why we organized the conference. Where science is the art of the probable and politics the art of the possible, lobbying is simply about persuasion, but it is also an industry. Democracy is not something that can be reached simply by a lobbying war. By and for the people, not just between experts and politics professionals. At the same time, of course, we live in a complex world and we need information that only science can provide. More than that, we also need scientists to help us find answers and solutions to the questions and projects we have as a society. How to organize this relationship so that its outcomes are not captured or privatized. It took a few days for governments to rescue big banks with billions, but decades for these same governments to start rescuing their own citizens by regulating or banning the use of dangerous widespread products such as tobacco, asbestos, numerous synthetic chemicals, leaded gasoline. Two different victims, two very different treatments. We can all notice today how the scientific quasi-certainty that the mass burning of fossil fuels causes climate change still fails to trigger much meaningful political action. The problem is the delaying power of all those who benefit from our present fossil fuels-powered society and don't want to change. Against the many smiles and half-truth of this persuasion industry, the scientific method can obtain much better and sometimes the best possible answers to our questions, even though it can never answer them all. But this makes it strategic for lobbyists to control. And just as the power to lobby, the power to produce and interpret evidence is unevenly distributed in society. Scientific evidence doesn't grow on trees, and there's no free lunch. On the EU's science versus lobbying battlefield, it shows, helped by the lack of internal expertise, weak integrity rules, and democratic accountability of the EU institutions. Some observations. Lobbyists today constitute a sort of auxiliary bureaucracy to the EU administration, feeding a considerable amount of research results and preparatory work to public EU officials. Of course, starting with strategic risk assessment material on their own products, of course. The for-profit sector dominates dozens of key expert groups advising the European Commission, vastly outspends all other sectors of civil society combined in lobbying expenditures, and invests more than anyone else in Brussels in expertise tailored for EU authorities. Revolving door moves between EU institutions and lobby organizations are constant. The EU's research policy itself gradually imposes public-private partnerships with industry to academia in order for it to keep access to public research funding and for research objectives serving a majority of commercial interests. This builds a picture where industry taken as a group tends to win most Brussels lobbying battles when those are kept at a technical level. And we know from the past that this has detrimental consequences for society as a whole, including industry itself, by the way, as the resource discrepancy between multinational companies and the others also reflects in their ability to capture policy and secure the commercial positions at the expense of competitors. What can be done about it? How to improve the integrity of the existing EU system for scientific evidence production and assessment? how to make it evolve towards better serving the public interest, and provide public representatives and officials with reliable answers to their questions. How to organize the production of knowledge in society in a way that best suits our collective needs. Can science and democracy reinforce each other? And if so, how? These are some of the questions I hope this conference helps us find answers to. Of course, the fact that this discussion happens in Brussels EU quarter has implications. A significant proportion of the people in the room today are lobbyists, NGOs, and industry. So with a professional stake in this discussion on how to escape their influence, we'll see how it goes. As you can see, we're going to live stream and film the whole event with the hope that our discussions can find a broader audience in space and in time. Before finishing, I would like to very warmly thank Professor Millstone, who has accepted the very important responsibility to be this conference's rapporteur. He will observe our discussions, summarize them as well as describe how they went, and because he's been working on the science policy interface for a very long time, make any remarks he wishes about the issues discussed at the end of both days. That said, let me thank very warmly all the speakers who have accepted to contribute to our discussion, and I wish to everyone an interesting and informative conference. Thank you.